Kevin Odumero for his goodwill message. Appreciate him as he comes.
Can you pass the mic down?
Okay, it's long enough.
Yes.
So how do you project yourself from there?
I'm not projecting, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
We thought the goodwill message should have been projected.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Kevin Odens, or Kevin Odemero. That's my full name. Most people call me Kevin Odemero, but that's much more easier to pronounce. So I'd like to welcome also to today's training. I'm here on behalf of Irudila, which is an NGO, and we're the ones partnering with FOI to organize this training for you. So just give me some few moments while I bring up mine. So I won't be saying more because our time has already been fast spent, so I'll just give a very brief meaning to what Irudila stands for, so I can have an idea of what it is. So it stands for Initiative for Rural Development, Information and Legal Advocacy. Now, we discovered that those in rural areas really don't have access to as much information, to as much legal support as they ought to. So that was why we had to set up this NGO to ensure that they have that, because some of them they have legal issues. Sometimes government comes, take over their lands. Sometimes they don't have adequate infrastructures, and nobody is there to help them, to assist them on what they should do. Even if they have rights, but they don't have any means of executing or implementing the rights that they have. So that's why we have this NGO. And in due time, during the course of this training and in the course of the next few weeks, we'll get also let you know how you can come in to help. Like I said, it's an NGO, not really a big organization, so we might need your support, we might need your skills, we might need any form of help we can provide to ensure that we're able to go down to where they are and provide these services to them. So that's what this organization stands for. And I would like to welcome you once again, and I do hope that we're able to meet your expectations at the end of today's training. Thank you very much. So if you have any questions to ask, you could just ask, maybe based on what my colleague explained or based on what I explained. So you could just ask. And we are already officially live. Yes, we are officially live now. So I just want to let you see.
We're trying on this issue.
Yes.
For most of us, we are just maybe are hearing the word FOI or what you call it. You know, one of us we wanted to explain was the meaning of FOI and what it actually entails. What is the vision of the FOI? What are its vision statements? What we just want to with the basics that to be captured in the
Another question.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, we discovered that most of the times it's very difficult for these government people to want to release information to you. So how do one go about it without stepping on their toes? So how do you go about without offending
Both parties.
both parties? Yeah.
We've done it before, and I guess our director will explain more. So we've passed through the process and get to explain practical steps on how we did it. So we have different proofs and different info we've gotten from agencies before. So, but he already explained what FOI stands for. That's Barrister Ayo. I don't know if you see. FOI stands for Freedom of Information Act. It was passed into law during Goodluck Jonathan's time when he was the president. So that's when it was enacted into law. And ever since then, that's what gives people rights to now approach the government to legally request for data. Data, not like you said, not really any type of data. Like you can't ask for data regarding the military, some information regarding the military, not all information. But when it comes to maybe finance, budget, how government is being run, do we spend, because it's our resources that spend. So we have the right to ask and make it. How do we spend? Because at the end of the year, there's always budget allocation for the state. Okay. So they want to. We have the right to ask. How is our money being spent? Okay. What do we use the money to do? So that's what the right thing. But that's what the FOI Act empowers us to do. Okay. And there's an approach to do it using the legal system, which we get to know today. So once we know, I believe that will now equip you with the knowledge and the skills to be able to do it yourself, just in case you also need. So all of that you act now, we'll get to explain today. Then from what he previously stated, that's why he also gave some hints on what the act is all about. So I don't know if you want to repeat again.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Okay, I said FOI Act actually is an act that enables citizens, CXOs, organizations to apply for a particular information from government agencies, could be government agencies, MDA particularly, requesting for a particular information. There's actually a process. The FOI provides a process. You apply, that you need to get information from agencies, and it's a right. And when you think that right has been infringed by way of refusal, you can sue that agency to court. In fact, you can even as well recover damages from them if they fail to accord to that privilege of giving the information. And that's what the FOI Act provides.
Can I also say,
Okay, please go on.
like, for example, if on the budget they says they are going to give the local government 2 health or 3 health centers, Ikubauha, this, that, and at the end of the day, it's only one they will be able to build and equip. So we have the right to demand for this freedom of information, to know how much was allocated for that building of 3 health centers, and then how much was spent, what was the money that was budgeted for the beds, for the the equipment that we use in that health center. But if at the end of the day it's only one, you are able to see the visible thing, and what about the other 2? How did they spend the money? Then we can come in to really ask them. We want to know what they did and how they did it. So that is the real freedom of this freedom of information.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank every one of you for active participation so far. All of these issues we're going to be looking at in details. All right, I can see that someone is already flouting the rules. Ladies and gentlemen, how many people need sweets? The very person who set the rules has flouted. Can you please join me recognize Comrade Bartolomeo Kudo, who is buying everyone of us the sweets? All right, he set that rules and he's breaking it. Okay, we'll forgive him from the sweet, but there's one he will do for us before we go to the net. That is to dance for us.
I'll buy the sweet.
All right, at least now he's awake again.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to specially welcome every one of you again. Quickly, for the last time, let us quickly reiterate the rules as we move to the next section. Please, all phones should be on silent. We have told ourselves we are going to be time conscious. No side talk, no chorus answers. We must respect other people's opinion. No loitering around because we are projecting. Wait to be recognized. If you have anything to say, don't jump and interrupt the person who is talking. And above all, avoid executive meditation. And we said if you flout the rules, 2 penalties apply. Either you buy every one of us sweets, so every one of you, you know you are going home with 1 sweet. Now you can't do the kind of sweet when you want buy. And then, if you don't want to buy sweet, you will dance for us. Are we ready now?
Yes.
While we wait for the slide to come up. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. It is my singular honor to introduce to us the person called, rather the distinguished personality called President Iboha. He is the foremost FOI litigation and research expert. He is the co-chair OON Access to Information of the Edo State Open Government Partnership, OGP. He represented NGOs on the famous NSAS panel to review issues of police brutality and compensate victims and discipline erring officers. He is the Executive Director of FOI Council, an organization that is focused on assisting citizens to access public record on all frontiers through litigation and training. He is also the Country Director of West African Media Lawyers. He has litigated over 15 cases on FOI in Supreme Court, and he is the co-author of the Freedom of Information, Law, Practice and Procedure 2019. Today we have the singular honor of receiving him to facilitate the training section. Is that what you can do?
Thank you so much for attending this training session. I think we like to facilitate this training. So again, my name is President Aino. The slides presentation will be like 20 pages, and we run it through in less than 25 minutes. It's going to be very instructive, and further from there we now do oral engagement on how best we can streamline it. The title is Measuring SDG 16.10 Access Information Nigeria Progress Review. A lot of us have heard of SDG and trying to see how SDG can narrow down to rule of law. You can find that in SDG 16. Furthermore, 10.2 focuses more on access to information.
Okay, no, don't worry. I can do the slide. Hello.
Introducing it, in 2015, the UN included Nigeria as part of the SDG goals. The UN Statistics Development published the proposed global indicators for the 2023 agenda for sustainable development. IGC 16 is to promote peaceful and inclusive society for sustainable development, while specifically 16.10.2 is to provide access to justice for all, be effective, accountable and inclusive institution at all levels. Target of 16.10.2. The target specifically, very important, is to ensure public access to information in accordance with national legislation and international agreements. That therefore means that, assuming that we have an FOI law 2011, is in accordance with international legislation and international agreements? Does it protect fundamental freedoms in line with international agreements? Are there provisions under this, our FOI law, that is contrary to international law and agreements? Those are areas for further engagement, but we have done extensive discussion. I think our FOI law 2011 is a model law. It's one of the best in Africa. I think running after the one of public law of South Africa, the PICA. It's a very good law that we need to use it as it is for now. At least to some extent it's good, and with these areas of fault, we're going to touch it as we do this presentation. The design indicators. The indicator 16.2 seeks to establish the state of public access to information in terms of setting variables. Whether a country has constitutional, statutory, or policy guarantee for access to information. So now you can arrive at the conclusion that we just reached, or the usability and model status of the law. Well confirm whether it has constitutional, statutory, policy guarantee for public access. Because Nigeria has a law that allows you to access public records. The FOI is the law. The FOI in 2011 is the law. Is that the only law that allows you access to public records? During your pre-training engagement like 30 minutes ago, if you engage on it, you have the Fiscal Responsibility Law Act, you have the, which is even domesticated in Edo State and some other states. We have the NAT, Nigeria Extractive Transparency Initiative Act. Those are access to information laws. We have the defunct the PIB bill. the Eastern PIDB. We also have the Nigeria Upstream Downstream Act. Those acts are legislations that allow for access to certain records. Are you getting it now? So the Nigerian law is saturated with other laws that allow for access to public records. We have also argued that even the section 36 of the Constitution, it had to have allowed for access to public records. With or without FOI, that the Constitution itself guarantees it in context, section 36 of the Constitution. And that our argument was allowed by Court of Law in Nigeria, Federal Court of Port Harcourt, in 2015, in the case of President Harcourt and Grace NDDC. The court agreed with us that section 36 of the Constitution guarantees for access to information. And furthermore, that access to information is what is a fundamental right. That's very important. To what extent does the national law, policy and law reflect international agreements? Read FOI side by side with the International Convention on Civil and Political Rights, SCCP and Rome 1966. Read FOI side by side with Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Read FOI side by side with the African Convention on of Freedom and Access Policy. We will now agree whether or not the FOI of 2011 has, to some extent, guaranteed access to information. Government effort to publicly promote right to information. Those are the indicators. Capacity of public bodies to provide this information upon request by the public. And judicial work review. The first, please take me back. The first 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, to a large extent can get a positive endorsement. And that's also subject to our breakout session or our agreement after this presentation. But I think government effort to publicly promote right to information for now is not to write about. The capacity of public bodies to provide information upon request is zero. And judicial review, I've done a lot of cases on it, that judicial review leaves much to be expected. Our courts are not living up to expectation of interpreting relevant provisions of this law, as simple as they are. It is not out of lack of knowledge of the court, but it is that the law is too simple and complex. And the judge is confronted with the fact that we want to access public records of a company that is owned by someone by a local person. And is wondering, is this company a public institution? Irrespective of the provisions of section 7(4), would define public institution to mean anybody who collects contracts, who gets money from government institution, a private company. But the court is confused. This can't be true. That's the issue. In Nigeria, it's a private company owned by a man and wife. You want to know the expenditure, you want to know the grant, you want to know the contractual agreement. And don't also forget, there's a conflict between those provisions and private information. So those lines, the law is simple and complex, like I highlighted, is a problem of the court correctly. Sorry for the interruption. The implementation mechanism in place in Nigeria currently, there are 3 tiers of implementation of the FOI. We have executive, Attorney General gets personal reports of compliance. Attorney General must get compliance of every institution. Every request made out was he responded to. That for us an executive layer of enforcement. The recommendation has now to be sent to the National Assembly Joint Committee of Judiciary, who will now collate what the executive have gathered. Those persons whose requests have been turned down now has the room to go to court to enforce their rights. Therefore, the judiciary is still involved. And the fourth person there on the list is the NGOs, civic actors, who of course review all these things in an atmosphere we call the Open Government Partnership Review mechanism. Are we getting it down? So it's a co-ecosystem work where almost everybody is involved. So we now need to build capacity of everybody. And also forget there's a serious fight on applicability of the law in the states. So how much do people in the state know that their state is resisting implementation of the law? So what else can you do? Will you wait for the case that we have at the Supreme Court since 2016? Also Sakwe against Edo State Agency for Control of AIDS, Edo Saka, before you now know what to do. In between, what do you do? And that's not justification for engagement of this nature. We need to interact. We need to speak to ourselves. So what is the line of where are we in the fight? Get an update as civil society, as human rights defenders, and as media persons. What is the next stage of the conversation or the engagement? It's very important. Are we following now? Yes. So the battle of access to information is also a tripod of access to information going on one hand. We have exemption of access to this information. We have judicial review. We have the almighty public interest. The strength of FOI, like I earlier referred to it as a model law, is that it gave overwhelming power to the public. If somebody says, oh, this information you are requesting is a private information, well and good. The law also says, oh, it's a private information. But if this is the interest of the public, you can what? Access it. This is the diagram. Right information number 1. Proactive disclosure number 2. Exemption of public interest number 3. Annual report number 4. Judicial review of what? Public institutions. Number 5. Right to information. What is right to information? The rights which the public has in a society to access records held, managed, documented by public what? Institution. Record that they have, that you don't have, that you have not seen. Perhaps you have not also worked out of it. So when we see public institution writing that, oh, how do you know that we have this information? If you know how we got it, please you can go and meet them to collect it from them. You don't have to know. You don't even have to establish your reason why you need it. Are you getting it now? You don't have to show, I need it because I'm a nurse, I need information on that. No. You just need information. The information can be given to you in soft copy or in what? Hard copies. Is your right? It can be in government custody or the private entity that are just what? Government patronage. Contractors collecting money from government, executing contracts, public interest overwhelms privacy in such what? Contractual agreements. Information requests. We have done those training before, some of you were there. Can be in a letter. You can also walk up the public institution and tell them you need to access public record. They take you down on your details. If you are what? A literate person. But why is information necessary? Why do you need information? You just need it to waste government time, to waste resources, or you want to fight, you want to embarrass people. There's a court of appeal decision that we got, and the court ruled that the request seems that the applicant just want to fight. But what do we got that from? Because no reason was stated in the application for request of information, which of course the law allows us to. And the respondent telling the court that, oh, don't want this person seems that wants to fight, and the court believing that respondent evidence to dismiss application for request information was very strange. They also appealed the decision to the upper court. Why is information necessary? Human rights. Told you before that we had a judgment in Port Harcourt, 2016. President Morgan against the NDBC, where the court said that access to public records is what? It's a fundamental right. The first decision of that was a fundamental, was important. And that decision has also been upheld again and again by several high courts in Nigeria, by another high court in Nigeria, I think in Lagos. Anti-corruption. You need public records to stem anti-corruption. The fight against anti-corruption can never be won, can never be successful without what? Deliberate access to public records. Public what? Participation. You need to be engaged in what's happening in government, even before you cast your vote and after you have casted your votes. Very important. Your engagement with government doesn't end on the day of franchise. After that day, you can begin to follow up. Before that day, you can continue to follow up. Your engagement with government starts the moment you are born. So this act enables public participation in government. Cultivate record keeping. It helps government institutions to keep records. Because you don't know who will ask for it. And this government is wrapping up now, the present government in 2023. The deliberate effort is made to work, you need to collect records, keep record properly, because you don't know who wants the request for it. Trust and confidence. If I ask you for public record and you give to me, it gives me a privilege that I will trust you. It puts what? Trust and what? Confidence. Trust and what? Confidence. Because the information actually belongs to you. Imagine you keep money with somebody and you come sit down and kept with you. You can't give it to you. How do you feel? Distress trust. Because God is a what? Is a trustee. And holds this information for you and me. Information belongs to the citizens. Proactive disclosure is one of the key components of a successful access to information regime for implementation of the SDG 16.12, 16.10.2. Very important. Proactive what? Disclosure. Proactive. As simple as this is the hallmark of FOI enforcement. With a proactive disclosure, you don't need to go and write letter. With a proactive disclosure, you don't need to seek the service of a lawyer to enforce your right to access to information. Proactive disclosure simply means that there is full list of records available for you in public world institutions. Just available. You go there and just see. Either the notice board or in their website or in other social media handles. Hello, this information will be in print, can be recorded in their office places, can be in notice boards, can be in their websites. And where these things are not there, that amounts to breach of Section 2, Sub 2 of Federal Commission Act, which provides that public institutions must make information publicly available in a way easy and useful for the public without any request. Hello? It's a statutory obligation. And it is a criteria for enforcement of what? Compliance. That an institution has complied with the FOIA largely depends on how proactive the information was disclosed. And this is one of the biggest breach of public institutions in Nigeria. Like I have defined before, public institutions include both government and private institutions. Public and private institution is what defines who a public institution is, not just government and a public institution, what you know, a minister of the minister of that. You know, private institutions which are dealing with government. Information that must be disclosed. Another one, description of MDA's duties. The description of MDA's duties, what are your duties? You're not supposed to request for it. The local minister of social and gender issues and those. You're supposed to request, right? Their duties. Do you see that in the end of the notice board? List of records under its control. List of records under that you have. List of environment and erosion. We have control of records on erosion. We have control of records on CFOR. We have control on records on social projects. So you just go through their list on the notice board to know what records that they have. Do you see that in your institutions around? They are all breaching this thing. Receipt of expenditure and agreement and licenses and grants. We have receipt of grants by EU on CFOR between 2014 and 2019. So if you are requesting for the information, you make what? Application. Hello? You make an application. But in this case, these people don't release information. They don't have it. So first of all, they have already breached the law. You will now also apply and request for the information. Say, sir, can you give me this information? You won't even reply you. You now go to call for judicial review. Hello? Documents, names, title, salary, manual of administration, officers of the institutions. The title, officers of the institutions, the names should be there. Those who are working there, to be able to stamp those workers, to be able to know the numbers of staff that you have, so that people can plan. With that record alone, the person who is doing catering or restaurant in that place will know the target of the customer that they have that can patronize the person. You can analyze data for your business, for governance, and for development, even for the car park. Are you getting it? Agreement made by or between another public institution and private organization. Agreement that we have had, agreement of franchise of car park slots. That therefore tells you that the institution doesn't manage the car parks. Are you getting it? It doesn't manage the car park. Other persons are managing it. Are you getting it now? So when those agreements are there, anybody who wants to know, just there, there's okay, this is what is it. And those agreements will agree between this and the right here. The person knows when the agreement is going to refuse. The person already knows that the only thing you can have maybe ask for is to say, how will the private institution that this car park slot was given to manage? That is what engagements. If all these things are done, you need to be national assembly or state assembly. You don't need it because you are part and parcel of the way the system is working, and you take responsibility. But by then you don't know anything that's happening. When you see the house of assembly catching fire sometimes, you feel comfortable to drive home. You're supposed to be feedback to stop your vehicle and see that that thing goes off because you are part of the system. Are you getting it? So, it's if records are not released to people, people don't participate in the government, there's this nonchalance. Because it seems you don't own anything. You're not part of the system. You must have go and carry put your local government and pick form and be asked as every member for see other people rig election or win election and become as every member before you can begin to be involved. You know, it's not part of the so. You can be part of the government without holding what? Public office. That is what the long-term interest of this law. You are part of civil service without being a secretary, without working for government. You are just part of it. You can measure from a distance the progress of government because there are valuable records that is with you. The information must be widely disseminated. See, part of the duty under the FOI, it's not just for you to put those information on your social media, go and hide it in one social media that people cannot access. You need to go and hide it. You need to click and click and click where you can access it. You must public make it really what? Available. Are you getting it now? And you must disseminate it so people like, oh, know that information is there. And the records must be updated and reviewed all the time. It must be updated and reviewed all the time. Exemptions. Exemptions. And you see every information you can get for government. Every information at all. Obaseki, name of his wife, the age of the wife, where the wife's school, where she is now, what to know. Are there exceptions to what you can get? Records, I mean, affect with law enforcement and investigation. You are not entitled to it. Oh, I need the CP to tell me the records of this or that, of the criminals in the state now, under his custody. Criminals that is said now, criminals that have been transferred to Abuja. These are criminal law enforcement investigations. You are entitled to it. Defense and security matters. What is the treaty between the Nigerian government and this is our border, Nigeria Republic? How many men we have there at the border? Those are what? Defense and security. We are not entitled to it. The government will tell you how many people we put in. We are not going to eliminate them. You are not entitled to it. You are not entitled to such information. Hello? So defense and security matters are not information you are entitled to under this law. Information that will injure the conduct of what? International affairs. Information that will injure international affairs. You want to know these two SUVs that have been sent to Nigeria Republic now. You know, we are hearing in the airport. I don't understand. You know, there's certain information that you don't really, FOI doesn't really allow you to. The law is not a dubious law. It's not a lawless law. You get the point? It's a law that promotes unity, participation, and engagement. Are we getting it? Trade secrets. Want to know innocent trademarks? You want to know if doing whether it's composing those vehicles are being compiled here. What is it? Is it doing the tire? Is it doing the trade secrets? First question and cost of research materials. I'm using an exam. So Mr. Lecturer, please give me my words. The slips of my question and answer. I want to see it. But I don't know how you allocated 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to those results. Test questions. Research materials. There will be time for question and answer. Research materials only using arriving at its own research conclusion. You're asking for it. Other exempted materials. Public materials for purchase. Public what? Materials for purchase. You go and buy it. Don't ask for it on the FOI. Go to the market and what? And buy it. Library of museum materials for exhibition purpose. Go to the museum. You want to know the properties of Benin in the London Museum. Go and get this. Go and get this and go to the museum and see for yourself. After you see for yourself, you leave. Therefore, I doesn't guarantee you to be paid to pay people's business. Material placed in library, in museum, by individual governments, or in the archive. Material that are there. Go there and access it. The reason why it is exempted is because you don't need an FY to bring it for you now. Go to the place and access it. It's placed in the archive. To the museum, in the library. Those are public access places. Go there and access it and look at it. Are we getting it now? Another very important part of the law, annual reports, compliance reports. This annual report has to be submitted to the Attorney General. Continue details of FOI request you see on or before 1st of February every year. Must submit it. Did you receive FOI request? Did you answer the request? You submit those reports to the AGM. And the AGM publishes the report electronically and in print and submits copies relevant to the committees of the what? National Assembly. Submit copies are relevant to the what? National Assembly. The AG transmit to the National Assembly. I told you earlier, there's an ecosystem. Executive, the AG, National Assembly, legislators, AG transmit to them to tell them at least the compliance level. Why we, the requester, not be the one that will go to court to say, I didn't get the request. So it's something that the three arms of government are involved. In. Are you getting it now? Public decision include, we have defined it for two sections. Public decision include companies which government has controlling interest, or private company utilizing government what? Resources. An applicant who seeks access may apply to court to review the refusal within 30 days, or apply to court for a session of time to review it within that 30 days, and ask the court to extend it to any other time, or you will make the application within what? 30 days. Access is to be given to you within 7 days, before we should go to court and ask for what? A review. Where request is not given to applicant, or no letter, you send letter, nobody call you, but nobody send you a response. After 7 days, the request is deemed not responded to. So you cannot go for judicial review within 90 days of the refusal. The court has said that the court has power to, before the escalation, or the limit stated to extend it. You file a leave for judicial review. On that leave, you can now go for originating what? Summons. We did a leave recently on the forensic reports of NDDC. We did it for an NGO called MIFO. And the Federal High Court judge said there were no sufficient materials in the application for leave. That application, the CSC document of the applicant was there. The request submitted to the agency to Attorney General Federation himself, who does the compliance, who compile and transmit compliance. The request sent to him was also executed. I didn't get any response. At an ex parte stage, the court refused it. We appealed the decision because it's bad for the students. Other than the request, the application that you have made, attached to the affidavit, the statement, the support of the application, the verifying affidavit, the name and description of the applicant, the judge need no further information to grant you leave. And the case currently is before the Court of Appeal. Hearing is summarily done, and information cannot be held from the court to the hearing. Summary. Challenges. What are the challenges as we round up? What are the challenges that you are going to face in this your work while you are out to promote the SDG 1610? What are the challenges? That of technology. There's no technology in place for us to track the requests that are submitted. Your AG will come up anytime and tell you that requests that we request. How do we know the request that they are sending out? And how do we know the response? So that we can on our own measure it. So we must, as civil society group, as human rights defenders, ensure that there's what? Proactive disclosure. Easy out of it. Don't just say, okay, let's request and go to collect. No. Let's do a training, an engagement around. Let them be proactively disclosing it. It's cheaper for them and cheaper for everybody. Government-citizen collaboration. As citizens and human rights defenders, you must see how best you can collaborate with governments. This is not an era where you continue to fight governments. You must begin to engage them, do a cost visit to them, write to them, make advances to them, how easily they can work, have desk offices to proactively disclose the records. And there must be what? We must, as a society group and human rights defenders, we must agitate for budgetary help for FOI processing. You want records? They're not going to do it, they have to photocopy it, they have to upload it. And agencies must be to have FOI headings, FOI processing budgets in their agencies. So we as human rights defenders must also assist to project this cost. The government will release money to process FOI requests. So agencies, they don't have money, what else can they do? And lastly, a part of the future is independent commission. An independent commission that will review non-disclosure. independent commission must come first. We will now go to courtroom. When an error where there is no disclosure will rush to court. And the courts are not getting seasoned experience, seasoned knowledge on applicability of this law. But when there is an independent commission, this commission are manned by people with experience and expertise. The one of the seasoned and is one of the serious recommendations of this training. It should be what? Independent World Commission and FOI. Can also be called the Ombudsman. I was on state country calls it. And good enough, there is public complaint commission. I've advocated a series of engagements and research publications that a public complaint commission should be made to be under the FOI. So when these disclosures are not being good, currently they seem to be idle. What are they doing? We made that recommendation very strong in our work on the FOI practice and procedure, probably 2019, alongside with Professor Edward. If you don't have the copy, you can order for one. They need to be what independent commission, a public commission that is existing should just be converted with a one-page draft to fulfill this work mandate to ease the implementation of the FOI. That's my presentation on this topic. Because what SDG system tend to meet and how the law, the FOIA, has aided the regional development goals of the 2030. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you very much. All right, right now we are going to go into a very, very interesting section. I believe you have several questions. They are very distinguished. Barrister is still very much available. He's going to be answering, taking this question for us. So, if we have a question, let's see the hands up. Number 1, number 2, number 3, any other? Number 4, number 5. Okay, let's take those first set first. We start with number 1.
Yeah. Well, my name remains Omera Gwanome Otuero. I represent Isabel Otuero Foundation. Concerning the FOI Act, we've had a series of meetings with concerning the SDG on education. And we did a lot of recommendations. At the end of it, nothing happens again because I discovered that I was one of the 3 NGOs that was invited for that roundtable meeting. And it wasn't even one-day meeting, about 2 or 3 days thereabouts. And we had people coming from the ministry, representative from the ministry and the rest. We prepared a document hoping to get feedback according to their promise. Up till now, about 2 years have passed. We are yet to know the feedback on that. And all our efforts to want to find out became futile. And that will now lead me to another one. We went to one of the ministries here in the, about 3 of us, we went to demand for the budgets. And they gave it to us. And the third person I went to was asked a very simple question because he was shocked. He said, so it is easy to just get the budget and know what is happening. I said, yes, that is as easy as that. So he now said they've been asking for a particular information from one of the NDAs and it has been problem, so Herculean. That seeing us just picking up a document from here, and I understand where his problem lies because he explained some things, and I now relate it to the first one I said about the SDG matter on education, that we were brought to sit and crack our brain for 2 days, and at the end of the day, we want to know the outcome. Nobody is talking. And I happen to also belong to a committee that did a job in Government House. We did that job for, they gave us about 6 months or so. And I was now also drafted into the subcommittee to work on the policy.
30 more seconds.
Now coming. And we did that. At the end of the day, we are yet to see this document pass into law, because they promise us that these documents are going to be taken to the ESCOs are going to look into it. After that, it will go to the House of Assembly, the House of Assembly will pass it, and it has to do with all these children you see in the streets, all these street children. And I know a lot of people who were part of that committee. Now, how many years have passed now? Still under the same government. This committee I'm saying, under this present government. I did all I could to get with some persons to tap into government and find out why all this delay and what is really going on. We couldn't get anything. So my question is this. When people you want to get information from, that's why I asked that first question before we started the lecture. When you are trying to get information and they are pushing you or trying to avoid you, and you don't want to offend people, that's why I made that statement. You don't want to offend, you don't want to step on toes. How can we get this information easily? Thank you very much.
All right, I think we'll just take so that we respond to all together. Who is number 2 again? Who was our number 2? Okay. I'll tell you number 2. All right, you can use the mic if you want to.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Alex. I'm from Edo Civil Society Organization. I have like 5 questions. I'll ask 3 first. One, I would like the minister to explain more on this open government partnership and the FOI Act. I was thinking that there is a contradiction. It's contradictory. I want you to throw more light on it. And also, I submitted a letter on FOI. I just get to know that we need to review it within 30 days, and the time had elapsed. The letter there was no response to me. I'd like to know what to do on that. That's
Okay. Number 3.
So I have 2 questions. The first one, you said research materials in institutions. Students are allowed access. But there are some institutions where the authority makes them to pay certain levies before they can access some information. Is that not a violation of the FOI Act? The number 2, an issue is ongoing. Our government set up a panel or a committee to look at that issues. And you are interested in the report of that panel. You keep going, and government keeps telling you the report is not ready. The report is not ready. And you meet the member of the committee, they will tell you we have submitted a report to government. Government keeps saying the report is not ready, it's not ready. In that process, what do you do?
Okay, number 4.
Okay. We are talking about being the app being implemented in the state. So I want to know, being a national sort of assembly act, at all the states, first of all, in the state, see the state, and the rest of the state. I want to ask a question. If something is happening, and I'm passing by the phone, maybe a policeman is harassing somebody, and I try to pick up my phone and record to that thing, does that act actually cover me? Would I have the right to do that under this act?
We'll take the last one again.
Okay, maybe I'm going now, I say police now, I'm asking somebody, and I pick up my phone and record this going on. Does that act actually cover me? My freedom of information, is it cover at that period of time?
Number 5 for now. The rest of you prepare the rest of the question. We'll take them after this round.
Good afternoon, everybody. I stand on the existing protocol. I'm the interim secretary Muslim Society. My name is President Okike.
Sir, during the course of your lecture, you enlightened us on that even if it's a private institute, that we still have the right to get information. Though he has asked part of the questions I wanted to ask. We know we engaged with some of the private institutes, and then they tell you a lot about our business. It's their private business. So on this one, what do we do?
Okay, we'll take that round of questions, and after that, every other question you have, we'll take it in the second round.
Thank you. Thank you, the moderator. Non-enforcement of SDG, after you have done an extensive work and research. I think the research you did, you identified some of the challenges, and your work cut across so many areas of your particular thematics of the SDG.
Yes.
The applicability and the functionality of the SDG does not depend on the team that went to the report. After you have done the research, they went. There's a problem with the civic space. There's so much tea drinking, so much meat eating, so much lodging in the hotel, that people now see every work stage as something that must be greased with salt fair. I see something that I can do. We are doing this training now. It has not single cover. Doesn't come from external. It's locally organized and facilitated. We can be at that level of engaging our society without looking for foreign money. But it makes you more enslaved. It makes serious issues that need to be intervening. We keep waiting for one approval or the other. Are you getting it now? So those who left with that your work have done they have marked their own sheet that they have succeeded in this. They wait for another grant to be approved, so they will come back to meet you again, so they want to start working now. And you are very pained that this thing is serious. Let us hit the ground running. My recommendation, therefore, is that you don't wait for them. The idea is in you. You put it on paper. They left with it. You want to go and look for money somewhere. Go and enforce it. Those things that people discussed about, how you can solve those problems, begin to start it. Are you getting it now? So SDGs is in your hand. It is not foreign based. SDG doesn't have any office in the sky. The only thing that government can do, or the collaborators can do, is to streamline the thoughts, to make it easy the way it can be well implemented. So as you leave this meeting, go back to your drawing board and begin to see how you can enforce those discussions, those suggestions that were raised. You have asked that you also demanded for a budget and was given to you. And the third person was surprised that they were trying to track government agency of a particular budgetary head flow, and they have not gotten it. Budget is a law. The budget, the day it is, that's why the day it presents it becomes a law. You are entitled to it. Because first it is a law. Secondly, therefore I can teach you right to access it. And thirdly is what it's a public document. Like any other law, like Criminal Justice Act, like the Constitution. Are you getting it now? But the challenge with the budget is this. If that your friend who needs a particular heading of MDA, perhaps to follow up the implementation. The moment it is a year after, and now assesses that record, that budget has been executed. You now have to be running behind. Are you getting it now? Is that the project is abandoned, the money is shared, or if you're able to track it on time within that 1 year spending period, it's at that point you can say you are following the money. Are you getting it now? So there's nothing wrong for him to use this, to use the heading that he has gotten out, the document he has gotten, to track that MDA. But there's something very important that it must be done on time. Not after the money has finished. Because the essence of the law is not to chase after criminals, it's to make you to participate in governance. Okay, I've answered that question. What I have asked you to explain OGP. OGP is Open Government Partnership. OGP and FOI. FOI is like a baby of OGP. FOI is just a thematics. One of the thematic areas of OGP. There are other areas of public procurement. There are other areas of what? OGP. OGP is open government for partnership, involve both government and non-government. That's why you have two chairmen. Chairman state and chairman non-state. State means government, non-state means non-government. Like in Edo, I'm the chairman of OGP Access Information, non-state. While my colleague in Ministry of Justice is the chairman of OGP Access Information, state. Have you understood that? Submission and review process. You said that you have requested for information and 30 days has passed, you are not going to contact. Application is odious. It's dead. It's dead application. So you can go and rewrite. There's a decision. Federal Court in Port Harcourt, no, in Abuja. Somebody called me and said, we want to rewrite. Look another one. When we did the review in court, the court was saying that it's an abuse of court process. How can you write two applications? You know, try to justify to you how the gap, the judicial gap on FOI, simple as it is, very complex. There's an abuse, and you write two letters. The first one was not responded to. He has responded, he didn't go to. He wrote another one. Are you getting it now? He wrote another one. So he responded now, exhibited the truth. See, it's disturbing also. He's harassing us with letters. Are you getting it? And none of them that he responded to. So you can write the question. What is really a question on report of panel? Report of panel cannot even be judicially used, cannot be, is as useless as the non-report, except there's a white paper by government. It is the white paper that is a public record, not the reports. Report like minute of meeting, subject to approval of government. So what you will be writing for is the white paper of the panel, not the report.
Like clear.
Somebody asked a question on the investigation of the law. We are in Supreme Court of that matter, that states do not need to domesticate the law for FOI to apply. More so, those state government are raising that argument at Lagos state government. I know those state governments in Supreme Court raising that argument have not shown that they have a state FOI law and that the application was not made subject to their law. So can you not say, I can't assess something because I have not made the law, and I will not make the law to frustrate you from assessing it? That is malafide. The man is. Are you getting it now? So the case is ongoing where the state government has argued that it's not applicable to them, and the Court of Appeal agreed with the one Supreme Court on it. So for now, FOI is not applicable to states by our own practice because of that one decision. But we are confident that sooner than later the decision will be upon. And there are several cases on the Court of Appeal. I'm sure that one of the Court of Appeal decisions now, they have to reset jurisprudence for engagement to continue at the sub-national. Right to information on fundamental freedoms. Somebody has said that, oh, he's in a car, he's videoing the police or something. You have the right to cover your space. You have the right to video your environment. It's also an information, you are gathering your information. But not necessarily like FOIA. Are you getting it now? The SDG 1610 said there will be a law that guarantee you access to information. And fundamental freedoms, right to expression, right to privacy, right to dignity. And those laws exist in Nigeria. Right against torture. I get it now. So FOI is not just the only law available. There are other laws. So you try to video or get evidence for the police harassment or not. It's not a violation of any law. It's in line with your right to get information. It's in line with your right to protect yourself against indignity. Are we getting it now? Private companies not allowing people to access public records. Define private institution, public institution to be private companies getting patronage from government. Patronage. Patronage is not defined that there must be a projecting head flow. not that the person is getting contract, or even if he's not getting contract, but getting the will and capital of government. Like Dangote Refinery, for instance, it's a private company, but it's subject to the FOI. Have you guys heard now? So that's the last question. I'm sure I've done justice to the questions.
Sir.
We want students to
We'll take that in the next round.
Okay, what do you think? What?
We want students to pay some service to get some information from the institution. For instance, instead of protesting that this is not what I scored, then the score authority will sit in for us to bring out your sleep. Pay 500 naira.
Yes, FOIA also guarantees us payment of money to access photocopies. But it must be minimum amount of photocopy. What do we use the photocopy? 0.13 naira, maximum 50 naira, maximum 100 naira. So if you need a one-page document, the processing should not be more than between 100 naira and 150. I got it now. So I think it's fairly in line.
Sir, what like what I was made to believe, what my brother is saying is, if at the time of videoing, maybe a uniform man, something happened, you are videoing, and then they apprehend you and beat you with the FOI, cover him up for the beating.
Yes, what we cover him up is the Anti-Torture Act. That's why I said there are other laws that protect fundamental freedoms. SDG says access information and guarantee of fundamental what? Freedom. Those laws are available to protect you.
And it's not illegal.
It's what protects you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
All right, quickly we'll take another round of questions and we will be the last. But before then, we have passed another sheet of paper to you, our post-stress training, our post-training assessment. Please help us to quickly fill those assessments. There are three basic things we want to know this time around. How would you generally describe this training? Is it worth it? Is it a waste of time? Is it something that needs to be taken a little further? Just give us a general opinion and impression. Then, when we started, you told us your expectations for the training. We want to be able to know if this training have achieved the desired outcome. So please explain your earlier expectations. Have they been met? The things you said you wanted to know, have you known them now? And finally, is there a recommendation you want to give to us in improving further training and future training? Those are the three basic things we need. While you are feeling that, let me also quickly announce that a good number of you have told us you are interested in becoming a volunteer under the FOI Act. I want to specially say it is a good decision. FOI Act called for volunteers, and for those of you who want to be a volunteer, immediately after this training, which is ending in less than 15 minutes, we are going to be documenting you and we're going to be giving you a brief so that we will know how to engage further. Like I mentioned earlier, what is the purpose of this kind of training? Not just to give you the information to go and sleep. We will be glad to engage you a little further after now. And that is why being a volunteer under the FOI is very, very important. So please take the next 3 minutes to complete the post-training assessment. Those information are very important to us. We want you to be as sincere as possible, as objective as possible. When we ask you to describe the training process, if there are things you did not like, things you wish we would have not done, things you wish we would have done, please tell us so that we can improve our future training and future engagement. And then we also want to, this one is very important, have your expectations be met based on your earlier form. Because we are going to try to marry this form together to know if we have achieved the reason for all of these. And like I said before, give us recommendation. Some of you, this is the first time you are coming to FOI office, this is the first time you are attending our training. Are there things you think we would have done better? Please let us know. Is there a way you think we should improve? Please let us know. Those feedback are very important to us. Now, if you are done filling the form and you have a question, we'll quickly take the next round of questions. Your lunch is already getting cold. The The good part of it, for those of you who do not wish to sit down and eat here, we have it all on the takeaway pack for you. Someone is smiling already. All right. And we also took your preferences into considerations. Those of you who sent me feedback on what you want as your preference, we took that into consideration also. FOI is interested about your comfort and well-being. So we look forward to seeing you in our next engagement because we care about you. All right, please fill the form within the next 3 minutes. Are there other round of questions? While you're filling, let me just know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? I think that is the much we can take. We'll just take those 5. But please, I'll give you another 2 minutes to finish filling your form so that I will be sure you are giving us the right information. Particularly the recommended. In fact, the 3 questions are very important. It will help us to plan. If you are done with the 2 of them, yes, you can pass them to me.
Any name to put name on top?
If you so wish, it will even help us to understand who is feeling that, so that if there's need for us to engage you further, we will know. If you want to put name on top, please just pen your name on top. If you want your reply to be anonymous, it is also welcome. Someone had also asked me, the training slide, can it be available to us? Well, the executive director will say that when he's taking the second round of the question, whether the slide will be available. If he approves it being available, we'll be sending it to all the email and if possible the WhatsApp contact we have, so that you can go through these things again and keep yourself abreast of the fact and reality of the lectures. I must confess, this is one of the most organized and composed participants I've had in a very long time. You've all done very well. Thank you very much. You had the spice to our program with your composure and your participation. Okay, number 1. We're going to take the question. Number 1.
Say something regarding this conflicting court judgment. The court of appeal judgment. Do align with one that FOI is not applicable to the state. And there's one news I got regarding Sarah, that they apply for information to the state government and the application through FOI, and the application was granted. And I want to also ask, how are they doing this, like the Supreme Court judgment for the FOI? What are they doing regarding it so that we can fast track? We have been one court judgments to align with the future thing.
Okay, I think he has an answer for you on that one because we too just got an FOI reply, so he should be able to give you a first-hand information how he did it and what he did. Number 2.
Okay. My question is, when I relate to everybody now, talking about how they apply for commission, and if I look at very well, you find out that they are many organizations. So I want to know, is information made available to only organizations like NGO or individual like me that just go and apply for information?
Nice one. Number 3. Who is that number 3? Okay.
I want to know if the projects is going on in my area and they are abandoned projects, if this FOI also allow me to finally why the projects are abandoned.
This is a beautiful question. Before I take the number 4, one of the questions I was raised earlier, I had a case scenario. I remember when I was in school, in our logic exam, my junior colleague in school is here. I answered about 3 questions. The lecturer just pulled 2 out of it and gave it to put it in his girlfriend's slip and marked only 1 for me and gave me an E. And then when I demanded, they said I should go and pay 15,000 to the bursary. The bursary will now write to the Senate. Senate will now hire an external investigator who will now go. Number 4, please. I just needed to mention that. Okay. Oh, you're the guy from Ekpoman. Nice to see you.
So like my school now, we just increase school fees to about 30,000, 50,000 a year. So without any reasons, nothing like that. So with the help of FOI, can I write to that this like the reasons for the increment of the school fees?
Nice one.
Second one, you also made to pay for, if you have cars entering the school, like pay 6,000 naira to register. Now, they after registering, you have to pay 200 naira to access the school gate. I still gate fee. If you enter the school as 5 times a day, you have to pay 1,000 naira. So those money now they are given and the reasons for this.
Okay. Before I take the last one, if you are finished filling your post-assessment and your pre-assessment, please you can hand it over to me if those forms are available. Okay, who is the last person at number 5? You.
Good afternoon. My question will go like this. 1, because when we talk about the FOI, I discovered when we were answering some of the questions, there were some particular set of people that was always exempted, the uniform personnel. Is it that as a uniform man, you don't have a right for an information on your own body that you serve as a uniform personnel, like for the security or just like, because we all know that when it comes to security, when something happens, you have to cut it. If it's 5 or 10 things that occurred, you have to cut it and say it is 2. So what happened to others? That is 1. 2. And you also talk about paying for information. Paying for information is the act also specify that before you get any information, either for the government or for anything, that you must pay a certain amount of money to get the information. Then my last question, sir, will not like because we always talk about the information. There are some particular, maybe you apply for an information, and when they are giving you report or reply that you are permitted to get this information, then there's always a limit to it. They give you an information, they don't say it all. You must limit it or you face the consequences after that.
All right. Before I bring up the executive director to attend to these questions, I just want to quickly inform every one of you. We will also be glad to engage you in our social media platforms. For those of you who have your phones here, you're on Facebook, you already know we are streaming live. You can look, you can search out for us, FOI Council. That is our name on all the platforms. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. Just look for FOI Council. It is the same name. If you look for FOI Council, you can't find it, type the full name. Freedom of Information Council. Good, that is it. You found it. Please like those pages, join whatever. Just we want to engage you further after now. So please let us effectively utilize those social media handles. We will love to. If you're following us, we want to follow you back. If you're liking us, we want to like you back so that we can follow you, so that we can engage ourselves further rather. All right, this is the point where I will bring up the executive director to answer the last round of questions. And for all the intending volunteers, please, you will remain seated immediately the meeting comes to an end.
Thank you for this new set of questions, which seems to be more difficult. Completing court decisions. The first decision on the applicability of the law was Ondo State against one of my friends who sued the Ondo State government. The day after, our own Lusaka invested Sako, which of course now means that since it was the day after judgment, the judgment is not the one that is what valid. There have been 2 judgments on the applicability of FOI and the Court of Appeal. Both of them agree with President Sako against Lusaka. So that's what we are still in now. It's a judgment from Lagos, it's a judgment from Ondo, it's a judgment from Delta. So we are all at the Supreme Court waiting for dates to hear it. Because as of today, the law is that the law is not applicable to states. several application was granted by the state government for reason for good reasons. I saw it on the media. So it doesn't mean that the fact that they say FOI is not applicable to state, that state government can not give you record. After all, that's still releasing budget. That's some of the few states that publish their budget on websites. Are you getting it now? So the state still respond to letters. So the fact that the state government not FOI is not doesn't mean you cannot make correspondence with state government. You can make application to them, and they can give you the information you want, whether FOI is applicable to the state or not. At that point, it becomes like a discretionary approval for public record being sought for. Because the answer of FOI, evidence has said you must give me some record. If you don't give me that, means that the document is advanced to you. The Fiscal Responsibility Act asks for government to release records. Are you getting it? So, and state government have domesticated the Fiscal Responsibility Act in the states in 2019. Are you getting it now? So, you have to don't be discouraged. Keep what? Requesting. You see, information made to NGO just an individual. I think we will read from the law, section 1. Notwithstanding anything contained in any act or law, the right of any person, the right of what? Any person to access or request of information, whether or not contained in any written form, which is in the custody or possession of any public officer, agency, or institution, is what? Established. Your right to access information is established, whether you are an individual or what? Are you clear now? Section 1, subsection 1. So many people argue with you, say, I know FOI, section 1, subsection 1. That should be Can FOI be used to investigate abandoned projects? Yes. You have abandoned your community. Can use FOI to ask how much was what awarded? Who is what? Contractor. What is the duration of the what? The contract. What is the scope of the contract? Are you getting it now? You get this information, cannot transmit this information to security agencies to prosecute the defaulting contract. But you cannot use FOI to say this work must go on. You know that we will die today. So FOI don't give you that power. Because they will arrest you with the law.
Excuse me. What if you go and access this information without first applying the FOI law, like in the case of the Igwebe, between Amonsa and honorable member? The guy went there, which in my opinion, it was within his fundamental human right to go there. And at the end of the day, he was beaten up. Is it because he didn't use the FOI or what?
No, the beating up was very wrong. Whether you use FOI or don't use FOI, nobody can beat you when you're investigating. Are you getting it now? Public projects. Calling up a public project can be physical, can be in writing. You can physically go there with that paper. Let me go and see what's going on there. You just go find out now and do your report and go. You must not write first. Are you getting it? Before you go and government will now approve, you can report. No. You can only write for details. Who is the contractor? Which you cannot get there if you go there by yourself. You can't get it. Who is how much you have? You can't get it, you write. But I want to go and physically see it. You don't need to make a request. When you ask a question about payment for exam review, I think my moderator. School institutions have a certain amount, standard that we must what? Pay to access public records. But the Act is very specific about people not using that amount to begin to what? Extort people. In part of this provisions of this law, provided for the amount that people should pay. Yeah, 8. Fees shall be limited to standard charges for documentation. Standard charges of photocopy is not more than 15 naira. It's not more than that. Even if you go and photocopy in Kochi. So let's say between 20 naira and 500. So asking you to pay how much? How much? 15,000 to do that is not. I don't think it's. But that cannot be maybe under FOI. Maybe under exam review policy of the school. Because if you make it 1,000 to review exam, everybody will be applying now. Same me, they don't want to do it. Oh, they don't want to do it. So the school can have. So let's have a figure to bring an external person to come and see this. The laws in this country are in thousands. The policy are in multiple thousands. I'll get in there. It's not only FOI that is the law. Therefore, we tell you that law is a good law, but there are other laws that are it. There are other policies that are it. So the decision of the institution to determine what you will use to review your score. I think within their limits. But it was what? Reasonable. And I think 15,000 is not unreasonable because it's doing an external person to market. Right to information by security personnel. Security personnel wants to know information. If you are a personnel, you want to know information, you have the right to it. The public also have the right to certain security of information. And not information as to operation, not information as to their postings, perhaps information as to the financing. How much did you buy your warship? What is the model of warship that you bought and who, maybe the person you bought it from? Those are procurement information. I get you now. But when you may not ask, where is your warship position? What is the rank of the officer manning the warship and the name? Those are information that is against defense. It will not be given to you. They are classified information. Have I answered you? You want to ask the last question. Very well. Are you going to ask it again?
My last question was, you said that they should pay some certain amount for getting some information.
Yes.
Is it written?
Yes. Definitely. Section 8. Fees shall be limited to standard charges for document duplication and transcription where necessary. They are to transcript the document to you. You pay. So fees are allowed right for what? The major thing here was what? Standard charges. Reasonable. How do you not define reasonable charges? Quotia.
It's not major environment.
I think that's the end of the question. For you to ask some question. Oh, you asked me.
I think like my school that they increase school fees without any value at all.
Okay, if you are driving in, pay 1,000.
It's 200.
So driving 200.
Now after you are registered with 6,000, they'll give you a card. You still have to pay 200.
If you are a lecturer, you pay 6,000.
Student lecturer, after you have a card.
You pay 6,000 with driving in.
Register, give a card.
That's a king of God.
If you are empty, you have to pay 200.
Every day.
Yes, every day.
Are you clicking in that card?
Yes.
Yes, now you have the card, you have to pay 200.
It can't to be a member.
Exactly.
Why the right to 200 is maintenance and for security?
If your car wants to go,
So that's 200.
200. But
When did they increase the school fees? When?
this semester, so
How much is that much?
College of Education, medicine, we added 2,000. Why our engineering, we added 2,000 there.
Okay, I just added some money to it.
Yes.
That school fees, sorry sir, it's not general. It's according to faculty.
I understand.
For example, where my daughter is now, they added about 2,000 or 3,000 to it.
Okay.
Engineering is 30,000.
Transportation,
About
college 50,000.
I think
My
increase
son
of
is 30,000.
I think increase of school fees is not well in the education at tertiary level. Up to even more expensive what we are seeing now compared to what some secondary schools are paying at private schools. So we have to be fair.
State university.
State university, yeah, it's not a tertiary education is not compulsory. It's Nigeria that make it so. Are you getting that? If you get secondary school, you get to secondary school level, you can go and do technical. No, it's too much of book now. Go in the Bible. That's why it's supporting like this now. In abroad, you know, you make it expensive, you won't go. You go and do something, you master. Well, they don't have job. They don't do creative. There are problems everywhere. You can sit down, the necessary can think. And you devise a means, and you go and meet government after collecting money from people who are in school to give you loan to set up something in engineering. You didn't go. The person who has decided to go to Ekoma is paying high school fees. Government will carry it and keep it for me. Who didn't go? Who want to build something? Yes. And I will apply. That's what they do in the China. You collect the money and start building. That one in school now, after finishing, come to you and work and learn it. Yes. Why is learning it from you? You are also learning how it's making purpose. You are also learning his grammar. Yes. But the problem is that they will steal it. The problem is that they will steal it. Yes. So the problem is the way as policy advocates are not actually working towards ensuring everything is cheap. We are asking for, is the money accountable? If you are paying 30,000 and you are sure that this money that you are paying for your son, if he graduates tomorrow, the university can employ him if he gets this, and they will owe him. Yes. And when you enter the school, they start paying 30%. I mean, I pay local government 30%. Have they started paying their full salary now? No. That's not. And they will pay you 3 months ago, pay you 2 months, pay you half. You are not safe. You are just thinking to your son now, in this time, will it not be any one salary in 6 months? Yes. So when that fear is there, you are not happy, you are paying. When everything is working well, everywhere in the world, they pay high money to go to tertiary school. It's not for everybody. If you can't pay, learn work and use the work to make money. But those who are learning work here, of course, so say they don't have subvention. If you learn work and can't need to apply, already you will not let the interview now. You know, we want to do. Okay, this one, I need to go to do investor here. Okay, you come, they'll give it to super loan, but they're exceptional. To give them loan, they start paying. They build next store. Higher boys. Before you know, the person who has paid so high in the university comes back and do internship with him, he grabs his own knowledge. Before establish his own. Everybody is industrious. But not in a nation where that's the problem. It's not working, not because you are. Yes, that's what we are doing. We'll make it work. We'll make it work. There you go. Yes. So I think that's it.
For a new Nigeria, it must work.
All right, can you join me with give my executive director a round of applause? All right, someone is drawing my attention to the issue of the slide. He didn't.
The slide.
Oh, the slide. Still, the slide I will share with you, but not immediately. Not in 1 week, not in 2. But it's under construction. Okay. There are things that we need to see infused into it. Our goal, being a FOI advocate, to ensure that people have information. So we are not going to. As long as an email is there. We will send it to you latest in 2 weeks from now. Okay. We are going to put in more few things as to simplify the knowledge also. Because with this engagement that we are having, I will now have to add some few things and reduce some languages so that it can be easy for application. So that what is this organization called? Foundation for
Christabel.
We don't wait for it to be. We don't wait for SDG to enforce their research and conversation. It can just run with it. It can be as easy as that.
Thank you.
All right, after this time, now this is what we are going to do. We'll be having a group photograph. When we are done with that, you just simply come back, pick your lunch back, and go. For those of you who are our intended volunteers, you wait behind. Another thing I'm going to appeal to the executive director for us to make available to you will be a sample FOI letter. Because one of the challenges we've had is people asking, how do I even draft the letter? We'll also make a sample of